Hello and welcome to J Talks Cars. Now, you probably noticed that this channel was previously Vader Monkey TV. It still is Vader Monkey TV. Vader Monkey TV covers across 3 channels now. This being J Talks Cars. We also have Vader Monkey Vlogs, which is more focused on UK rave and dance music industry. And then we have Vader Monkey Gaming, which is basically about my sim racing exploits using the Race Room Experience platform. This channel is basically going to be focused more about cars, clues in the title from the channel J Talks Cars. The topics I'll be covering is basically living with an older vehicle, making it work for you, trying to offset costs compared to today's motoring, especially when there's a push to go into newer vehicles, greener motoring and stuff like that. But not everybody can afford to make that step. I know that there is a mandate until I think 2030, 2035, where the sale of combustion vehicles will, cease. But in the meantime, whilst we still have the vehicles we have, keeping them on the road within a budget that is manageable for people who are on either low to sort of medium incomes, this is kind of my point of this content. Also, within this content, I'm going to highlight as well that there is a complacency with today's motoring. Some of that's reliant on technology with new vehicles. Also, I feel that the way people are being taught nowadays, I don't. I feel it's kind of contradictive. I think it's more geared towards allowing people to have accents. And I am a believer in, you need to make mistakes to learn from those mistakes. But I feel as well there's a bit of an exploitation as well. I mean, drivers do get a real tough rap in terms of a lot of things on the roads that target drivers. Some of which for good reasons, some of which I feel are quite unnecessary and just a simple money grab. But I mean, I'm not the only person with this opinion. Um, and yeah, it's just basically general motoring as it is. It's not going to be one of those channels where it's going to be like, I'm going to get a car, do it up, abuse it within an inch of its life, it breaks, and then try and keep it going. I'm not. I'm not a mechanic, but I have tinkered with cars, so any bits of jobs that I do on cars will be just little bits like, advices, little, I want to say little jobs, so like touch up paint, little mods, stereo changes, maybe upgrading your stereo from a basic CD player, because CDs are becoming a rarity now, to an MP3 player and making that work. Modifying your car in a way where it's practical. Not, I mean, I just want to use my car as an example. I've modified my car in a way where it's not for performance gain, it's more for practicality. Um, so building on the original platform, maybe doing the things that obviously back then they probably couldn't afford to do, or they didn't feel as though was viable for that particular model or brand. So stuff like that, making your car more, aero efficient or fuel efficient, not, not resorting to the fact of maybe risking your emissions and stuff like that. So, it's just finding alternative ways of making your car work for you, offsetting your costs, still keeping within, you know, like government guidelines in terms of emissions and economy and stuff like that. So finding ways of getting around that as well. So that's pretty much what this channel is going to be about. I'll be covering a few shows. I'll be covering a few car meets. I'll be talking about the car culture from a different perspective as well. But also I'll be offering advice in terms of, I mean, kind of regaining the mantra of driving is a skill, not a convenience. As much as, nipping to the shops in the car is easy and it's convenient for you, you got to remember and bear in mind that you are driving potentially a dangerous item, potentially a weapon. Should a child run out in front of you, or should there be a situation where there's a pile up or stuff, some extremities, I know, but a lot of people take the skill of driving for granted, and I've noticed that that's been a trend now. for the past 20 years. I know that the technology and the safety in cars have increased and they are much safer than what they were 20 years ago. But I feel in the process, people's complacency have taken over. The standard of driving has been very questionable, more so over the past 20, 30 years. And I feel as though I need to highlight this in the content as well. It's not designed to lambast people or put people down, but I feel as though I see a lot of people making comments in community, sorry, car community, or just even local area community pages and stuff about people's driving, or standards of the roads and stuff like that. So I feel as though I need to do something about that based on my experience and understanding of the motor industry. If people were asking about that, my experience within the motor industry has been through various manufacturers, mostly in driving jobs. So I have experience of driving different cars and different platforms. So I do know what comparables and what sort of technology I can compare certain things from a current car and an older car. In terms of certain mechanical knowledge, basic mechanical knowledge I do possess, but I'm not a mechanic. I do have a garage that I do go through. A lot of people that have commented on this channel have said, well, you're not doing the job yourself. What value is it to us? End of the day, there are other content creators that are proactively doing these jobs themselves and showing, you viewers what is involved with certain jobs. But I don't feel as though I need to be another one of those. I feel as though I need to be just a voice within the industry to kind of educate about certain aspects, like living with an older vehicle, compromising with today's motoring, and then also as well kind of highlighting today's standard of driving down to complacency and ideologies, you know, and trying kind of re-educate people in a way where, look, we do need to drive better in order to drive safer. And I mean, it's a minority out of a majority. Not every one of you guys is mental on the roads, but I feel as though it needs highlighting because I've seen it far too often. I see it too much on the news. I see it too much on other YouTube content, and I feel as though I need to be talking about that as well. So welcome to J Talks Cars, and hopefully I'll see you guys in future content.